A long time ago, in a small village nestled within the land of Israel, a story of divine provision unfolded, a story so powerful that it has been told and retold for centuries. It's the tale of a widow, her 2 sons, and a jar of oil that became a symbol of God's unending mercy and faithfulness. Have you ever faced a situation so hopeless that you could see no way out? Stay with us as we dive into this incredible story of faith and provision, where God turns scarcity into abundance. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment "God bless you" to spread this message of hope to everyone. Let's inspire the world together. ###, the widow's cry for help. The story begins in a time of great difficulty. A widow, the wife of a prophet who had served God faithfully, found herself in dire circumstances. Her husband had died, leaving behind debts she could not pay. According to the harsh customs of the time, creditors came to take her 2 sons as slaves to settle the debt. Desperate and overwhelmed, the widow sought the help of Elisha, the prophet of God. "Your servant, my husband, is dead," she cried, "and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves." 2 Kings 4 verse 1. Her voice trembled with desperation, yet her plea carried a spark of hope. She believed that God, through his prophet, could intervene. #Elisha's unusual instructions. Elisha listened carefully and responded with a question that seemed strange at first. "What do you have in your house?" The widow's reply was heartbreaking. "Your servant has nothing there at all," she said, "except a small jar of olive oil." To her, it seemed insignificant, just a leftover resource with no value. But to God, it was the key to her miracle. Elisha then gave her a series of instructions that tested her faith. "Go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side." 2 Kings 4 verses 2-4. Can you imagine her thoughts? Borrow jars from neighbors? Pour her little oil into them? It sounded absurd. Yet, she obeyed. Her faith was about to turn the impossible into reality. #the miracle of overflowing oil. The widow and her sons gathered jars from every neighbor they could find. The small room in her house was now filled with empty vessels of all shapes and sizes. Then, with her sons beside her, she shut the door, just as Elisha had instructed. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. She took her small jar of oil and began to pour. To her amazement, the oil flowed steadily, filling the first jar, then the second, then the third. Every jar they brought was filled to the brim. The oil did not stop flowing until the last jar was full. "Bring me another one," she said to her son. But he replied, "There is not a jar left." And then the oil stopped flowing. 2 Kings 4 verse 6. The miracle was complete. What once seemed like a meager resource had become a boundless supply through the power of God. ###, a solution and a testimony. The widow returned to Elisha, her heart undoubtedly racing with gratitude and awe. He instructed her, "Go, sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what is left." 2 Kings 4 verse 7. Her faith and obedience had not only saved her sons from slavery, but also provided a means for her family to thrive. This miracle was more than just provision for a struggling widow. It was a demonstration of God's compassion, his faithfulness to those who trust him, and his ability to make a way where there seems to be none. ###, what this story teaches us. The story of the widow's oil carries a timeless message. It reminds us that 1. God sees our struggles. The widow felt unseen and hopeless, but God was fully aware of her plight. 2. Even small resources can become great in God's hands. That tiny jar of oil, insignificant to the widow, became the vessel of her miracle. 3. Faith and obedience unlock God's blessings. The widow's willingness to follow Elisha's unusual instructions paved the way for divine provision. 4. God's provision is abundant. He not only met her immediate need, but ensured she had enough for the future. ###, a message for today. Are you facing an overwhelming situation today? Perhaps you feel like your resources are too small or your circumstances too dire. This story reminds us that God is still in the business of turning little into much. He can transform your scarcity into abundance if you trust Him with what you have, no matter how small. If this story has inspired you, visit our store using the first link in the description below. There you'll find unique religious items like t-shirts, mugs, and jewelry to keep God's Word close to your heart every day. Thank you for watching, and may your faith in God's provision be strengthened today.